This is one of my favorite stories of all time by Bill Martin Jr. and John Archambault. It's Knots on a Counting Rope. It's illustrated by Ted Rand, who is one of my true watercolor heroes. He has such command over what he does with the paints, creating light and shadow at just a masterful level. And Bill Martin Jr. and John Archambault have been two of my favorite story writers of forever. Knots on a Counting Rope by Bill Martin Jr. and John Archambault, illustrated by Ted Rand. Tell me the story again, grandfather. Tell me who I am. I have told you many times, boy. You know the story by heart, but it sounds better when you tell it, grandfather. Then listen carefully. This may be the last telling. No, grandfather, there'll never be a last time. Promise me that, promise me. I promise you nothing, boy. I love you, and that's better than a promise. I love you, grandfather, but tell me the story again, please. Once there was a boy child. No, grandfather, start at the beginning. Start where the storm, where it was crying my name. You know the story, boy. Tell it. No, grandfather. Start, it was a dark night. It was a dark night, a strange night, and your mother and father and I were safe in the hogan, and the sheep, they were safe in the pen, when a wild storm came out of the mountains, crying, boy, boy. And your mother said, I hear the wounded wind. A boy child will be born tonight. Then what happened, grandfather? I rode up the canyon fast to bring the grandmother. It is not a good sign for a child to be born without a grandmother's blessing. Was the wind still calling for me, grandfather? Yes, boy. It was whipping up sand, sharp as claws. And crying like a bobcat, boy, boy. Were you afraid, grandfather? I was much afraid. How much afraid? Heart-pounding afraid, boy. Then what happened, grandfather? Just as I was born, tell me that part. It was strange, strange. Just as you came forth and made your first cry, the wind stopped howling and made you just as you came forth, and the storm was over, and the night, it became quiet, soft as falling snow. And the grandmother took you in her arms and said, he will walk in beauty to the east, and to the west, and to the north, and to the south, right, grandfather? He will walk in beauty forever. I was born strong, wasn't I, grandfather? No, you were not strong. You were sick and frail. We thought you would die. But I didn't die, did I? Tell me about that, grandfather. All night you laid silent. Your eyes closed, your breath too shallow, too weak for crying. And you carried me out to see the morning, grandfather, but I didn't open my eyes. Tell me that part. Two great blue horses came galloping by. And they stopped, right, grandfather? They stopped and looked at me. And you raised your arms to the great blue horses, and I said, see how the horses speak to him? They are his brothers from beyond the dark mountains. The boy child will not die. That's what you said, grandfather, isn't it? Isn't it, grandfather? Yes, boy. That's what I said. This boy will not die. The great blue horses have given him the strength to live. And that's when you named me, isn't it, grandfather? After you smiled your first smile, we had the naming ceremony, and all the grandmothers and grandfathers were there. And you named me Boy, Strength of Blue Horses. It is a strong name. Did I need a strong name, grandfather? All the children need a strong name to help them grow strong. And I grew strong, didn't I? Yes, boy, strength of blue horses. And each day, you're growing stronger. You are learning to cross the dark mountains. I already have crossed some dark mountains. There will be more, boy. There will be more. More dark mountains, they're always around us. They have no beginnings and they have no endings. But we know they're there, grandfather, right? When we suddenly feel afraid, we know they're there. Yes, boy. Afraid to do what we have to do. Will I always have to live in the dark? Yes, boy. You were born with a dark curtain in front of your eyes. But there are many ways to see, right, grandfather? Yes, boy. You are learning to see through your darkness because you have the strength of blue horses. I see the horses with my hands, grandfather, but I cannot see the blue. What is blue? You know the morning, boy? Yes, I can feel morning. Morning throws off the blanket of night. And you know sunrise? Yes, I hear sunrise in the song of the birds. And you know the sky, boy. Yes, sky touches my face soft like lamb's wool, and I breathe its softness. Blue is all of these. Blue is the feeling of a spring day beginning. Try to see it, boy. Blue, blue, blue is the morning, the sunrise, the sky, the song of birds. Oh, I see it. Blue is happiness, grandfather. I feel it in my heart. There was a sweep of blue in the rainbow, boy. That morning, your horse was born. Oh, tell me that part, grandfather. I could not see the rainbow, but I could feel its happiness. I awakened, boy, during the night. I remember. Just before the foal was born. And you said to me, come on, boy. Circles is ready to fold. The coat will be yours. Yes, boy, at the sun came through the clouds, the foal was born. In a rainbow, it danced across the sky, right, grandfather? It was a good sign, boy. And I named a little foal Rainbow. You have trained her well, boy. Rainbow is smart. Yeah, grandfather, Rainbow's really smart. Like you, she is good at remembering. Rainbow's in my eyes, grandfather. She is my eyes. She takes me to the sheep wherever they are, and when I'm ready, she finds the way home. No one thought you could teach her to race, boy, but I did, grandfather. Every day, day after day, we followed you along the trail, and you let me hold the reins. You trace the trail, boy. In your mind, boy, both you and Rainbow. Yes, grandfather, we learned the trails by heart. Up South Mountain to Granite Rock, down to the steep shortcut to the meadows of the blue flowers, then straight across the red flats to Lightning Split Tree, then down the switchbacks to the canyon trail and on around to the finish line. I learned from Rainbow when to turn by the pull of her neck and by counting her gallops. And now tell me again about the race, grandfather. It was tribal day, boy. You and the other boys were at the starting line, but you pulled back. I was afraid, grandfather, until you called me. Tell me what you said again. I said, don't be afraid, boy. Trust your darkness. Go like the wind. I leaned forward on Rainbow's neck. I grabbed her mane tight and I said, go, Rainbow, go. And I could feel the pushing and the crowding and the galloping and the thunder all around me. Rainbow and I went twisting, turning, galloping, 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 counting the gallops, remembering the way. And what did the people say, grandfather? They said, who is that boy riding bareback, racing with all his heart? And you said, that's Boy, strength of blue horses. He and his horse are together like one. Yes, yes, boy, that is what I said. But I didn't win, grandfather. No, but you ran like the wind. Wind is my friend, grandfather. Throws back my hair and laughs in my face. You see the wind better than I, boy. I finished the race hot and dusty, and my face was even sweaty. And you were smiling, boy. I wasn't afraid, grandfather. I could see through the dark. Every turn of the race, every turn. Rainbow and I knew the way. You were crossing dark mountains, boy. Tell me again what you told me then. I like to hear it over and over. I said, boy, strength of blue horses. You have raced darkness and won. You now can see with your heart. Feel a part of all that surrounds you. Your courage lights the way. And what did the grandmothers say? You tell me, boy. I know you remember. Yes, I remember, grandfather. They said, this boy walks in beauty. His dreams are more beautiful than rainbows and sunsets. Now, boy, now that the story has been told again, I will tie another knot in the counting rope. When the rope is filled with knots, you will know the story by heart and tell it to yourself. So that I'll grow stronger, grandfather. Yes, stronger. Strong enough to cross the dark mountains. I always feel strong when you're with me, grandfather. But I will not always be with you, boy. No, grandfather, don't ever leave me. What would I do without you? You will never be alone, boy. My love is like the strength of blue horses. It will always surround you. Hope you liked my story.